Tonight, the family of this man praying a trip to the beach won't take his life. He is in intensive care tonight in a Mississippi hospital after contracting a flesh-eating bacteria.
These are brackish waters. When we have a lot of rain and bacteria's counts are big, it can get into a wound or a small cut, but if it gets in, it grows rapidly. Within hours, you can be in trouble. You can lose your life within 24 hours or less.
Kind of take us back to what originally happened last week.
They took their yearly family vacation down to Bay St. Louis. They left on Thursday and we're going to return on Monday. And about 3 a.m. Monday morning, my uncle began feeling very ill. But they got up Monday morning to pack the car to return home to Baton Rouge, and he told my aunt, he says, I really need to go see a doctor. I can't make the drive back.
So we arrived there at about 11:30 a.m. and pretty much immediately saw the ER doctor. And when she came back to the room on one occasion, she said, and what were you here to do exactly in Bay St. Louis? And I said, we were at the beach. And from the doorway, she hollered down the hall to the nurse's station, beach.
Dr. Anthony was consulted, and Dr. Anthony looked at the leg and immediately told this man that his leg needed to be amputated.
Richard was a little bit of alert, and I asked him, and he said, let's go. And so that was, my decision with him to make the decision on the amputation.
He had a good attitude through the whole thing. They prepped him for surgery right there. They took him to surgery. They amputated the leg, brought him to ICU. He was on a ventilator. He was sedated, so he didn't know much from that point on. It was all family.
After I got the phone call from Mom, obviously I got in the car and I headed straight for the hospital. And when I got to the hospital in record time, I walked in and there she was sitting in the waiting room of the surgery. And we sat in the waiting room and waited for Dr. Crittenden to come out and speak to us. And Dr. Crittenden did come out and kind of give us the prognosis that things weren't really looking all that great, that his chance of survival was probably between 20 and 30%. After hearing that, it was like somebody just punched you in your gut. And you sit back and you realize that your dad's not Superman. And you couldn't do anything but pray at that point.
My son, daughter, son-in-law, and myself surrounded his bed and started praying the rosary. And he'd already come through 2 other serious illnesses. And so we just told him to fight. And we had a wedding coming up, his daughter, Caitlin, in August. And she told him, she said, Daddy, you have to walk me down the aisle. So you have to get well. You have to walk me down the aisle, Daddy.
And the next morning when we got there, we were greeted again by the doctor's staff and the nurses letting us know how great of a night he had back on the respirator. And when that great day came on that Sunday, when we walked back in there and he was off the respirator for good, we were again greeted by nurses and doctors letting us know how well he had done and that this was the last time they'd have to put the ventilator back inside. And that was just a huge burden of relief for us. From the moment that he entered the ICU until the moment he left the ICU, the nursing staff there was just incredible. He is a fighter, and he's been through cancer twice, colon cancer, melanoma. Now he's been through something that should have taken his life. And if there's anything that we know about him, he's not giving up.
Every visitation would be spent reciting the rosary for his return to health, and that he would be able to walk her down the aisle. And he did. He gave him back to us, and he didn't walk her down the aisle, he rolled her down the aisle. But he was there, and of course it was a very special moment for all of us.
I'm going to do everything that I did prior, which I love to fish, either in a boat. I'm not going in the water, but I love to fish. So I will do that and my normal yard work and gardening. So I will be going back to that.
The nurses were exceptional and the hospital staff was exceptional. Everyone, from the highest person to the lowest employee, were just super to us and to him. And so we praise Hancock Medical every time we talk to people about our experience and how if they have a problem and they're in that area, drop in.